Welcome to the Life After 50 show. What you need to know for the second half of your journey. I'm Katherine Watson, and I'm going to be your host. And today's show is sponsored by FindHoustonSeniorCare.com, the one-stop shop for everything senior care in Houston and the surrounding areas. Find Houston Senior Care helps you connect directly with assisted living care facilities, home care companies, elder law attorneys, and so much more. We have over 500 articles, videos, and podcasts to help you learn what you need about senior care and senior living. I'm excited today. I have got a really interesting guest on. She's an author and a speaker. And Alexis Thompson has written a book. She just came out with a new book called The Tribal Gratitude Journal. And today, Alexis and I are going to be talking about the Life After 50 show. We're going to be talking about the impact of gratitude on grief. I'm trying to take down my banner. There we go. The impact of gratitude on grief. And this is an important topic. You know, a lot of times people think about grief and they just think about when somebody dies, they grieve. But actually, throughout our lifetime, we grieve in many different ways. I know a lot of people over 50 are struggling right now. A lot of my friends and neighbors have recently lost jobs. And they didn't plan to retire yet, but suddenly they've kind of been thrust into it and they're not quite sure what to do next. And they do have to go through a grieving process. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about caregivers out there who are caring for someone with Alzheimer's or some other type of dementia, who are grieving the loss of what once was or what could have been. So there's a lot of different times in our life that we do grieve in one way or another. Alexis Thompson talks a lot about gratitude. And I know this is something I have had a practice on and off for many years. But her book is a little bit different. It's a lot different, actually, from any book that I've ever picked up. And we're going to talk about that. But let me just introduce Alexis first. So Alexis Thompson says her life's mission is to create safe spaces for souls to show up. I love that. Throughout her life, it's manifested in a variety of ways: being a mother, a dream manager, business owner, executive coach, conflict resolutionist, keynote speaker, and now author. Her latest project, the Tribal Gratitude Journal, is a culmination of a lifetime of practice, failure, and more practice. Boy, does that sound familiar. She loves to share those concepts and rituals that she has developed to live her authentic life. Should you choose to take this journey of introspection through a window of gratitude practice, you too will inevitably unveil your authentic self. Alexis says, "My wish for you is to experience the multifaceted magic of gratitude, for you to find and create space in your life to show up for all of your audience." This is exactly why she created the Tribal Gratitude Journal and why she speaks about gratitude at a variety of events. It was and continues to be a game changer in her life. If you so choose, it can be one for you also. Alexis, I'd like to bring you on now. Hold on just a minute. Let's see. Hold on. We're having a little technical difficulties. There we go. There she is. And let me just move this one down. Well, for some reason, I've got something pulled up. We'll go ahead. Alexis, thank you for showing up.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So how can I help you today? Tell us a little bit more about what you have been doing.
Yeah, so the Tribal Gratitude Journal is was originally built for what I thought would be a small audience in my coaching practice in general. And then it kind of caught on and went a little bit viral. And we went through my first set of 1,000 journals that we thought would last a few years. We did it in 30 or 60 days about.
Wow.
So we've just, yeah, it's been a lovely experience and a definite shift in how to publish a book, how to print a book, where to print a book. It's been a learning curve, but it's been a joyful one. And the feedback that we're getting from this first journal has been very rewarding for so many people. So thank you for being here in conversation with me about that.
Absolutely. I got your book about a week ago, a week or so ago, and it was real interesting because I was so excited to get it. I've done a gratitude practice off and on for years,
Mm-hmm.
in many different ways, and I was really excited to get your book. But I got it, and I kind of sat on it. And it was like, what's up with this? And I would open it
Mm-hmm.
up and I would look at it, and then I would not do anything. And then I read what you said in your book, and I thought, this, it just speaks to me. And I'm sure it's going to speak to a lot of the people listening here today. She said, the first couple of years, my practice started and stopped. Okay, yes. I was seeking perfection, which meant that even one missed day was a failure. One day I decided to just throw in the towel. What's the point if I couldn't be perfect? I bet there's a lot of people out there listening that resonate with that. If you resonate with that, just put yes in the comments below. And Alexis, talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I know my life, if I couldn't be perfect or aspire to perfection, and that's such a variable word for everybody, but at least my version of it, I might not even start, much less keep going. And so from, gym routines to eating routines to all of those types of things, and this wasn't much different. And I realized one day that participation was more the goal in life in general and pretty much everything we do. And that this probably practice wasn't going to be any different. And when I did that, and allowed myself the grace of missing days, sometimes months in my journal, and just knowing that it would be there when I needed it, everything got a lot better. And I also found that I ended up journaling more often because I wasn't putting this pressure of missing 1 or 2 days in that particular week. And in fact, the journal doesn't have predisposed dates on it for that very reason. So
I love that.
if you put today's date in and you come back a month later, it doesn't look like you missed anything. So it's all good.
Yeah, most gratitude journals they do, and you feel like such a failure. Oh my gosh, I missed 30 days or I missed 5 days or whatever it is that you missed. And you think, oh,
Yeah.
well, I've kind of messed this book up. But
Yeah.
I love that you did not put dates. And so
Yeah.
it's all good. You can just pick up where you left off and keep on moving, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So years ago, I started what I called a gratitude game with my mother. She had just lost her husband of 67 years. And
Mm.
as you can imagine, the grief was enormous and the fear. She got into really a fear mode of what was going to happen now, what was going to happen now,
Mm-hmm.
because she had always lived, she went from her parents' home to her husband's home, and she had never
Yeah.
really lived on her own. And so she was in that space, and we started kind of playing a gratitude game where I would call her every day and ask her to tell me what she was grateful for, and I would do the same. And at some point, she became to where she was not able to speak anymore. She had severe dementia too,
Mm.
and she was not able to tell me her gratefuls, but I could still see her light up when I talked about what I was grateful for. And I would
Mm-hmm.
mention things that I thought she might be grateful for, and I could see her light up. So I would like you to talk to people who are maybe have somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's. Caregivers struggle a lot with various different things in their lives. am I doing the right thing? Am I being a good
Mhm.
caregiver? Do I can't do this anymore? And, just so many gamuts of emotions. How can gratitude help them?
Yeah, it's a little bit of an irony, but life isn't that. So I was I live in a condo unit, and there's a woman here that is taking care of her 91-year-old dad, and he has dementia. And his name's Gabby. He's a pretty powerful guy all on his own, but this has been the past few years of her life. And so she moved in with her dad to take care of him. And I actually, she is one of the more positive people that I know, in a space that where most of us would understand not being positive and being more depressed or sad. And she chooses gratitude as a way of doing it. We were talking yesterday because she actually picked up a journal. We were talking about, she says, you know what? She says, Lexi, sometimes, some days, I just start with A. And I go, what's something with the letter A that I'm grateful for today? And then I go through, and she goes, and I don't even make it halfway through the alphabet, and I feel so much better. But some days that's the simplicity and that you have to start with, because your heart is heavy. Maybe your financial burden's heavy. Maybe you feel a little closed off from the world because you're in such care mode, and maybe you're not taking care of some of those things for yourself. I know we rally around her and try to make sure she's taking care of herself, because we care for her as well as she's caring for her dad. So really, I think it's that space of grace for self, and what you're doing in caring for a loved one is probably the most important work any of us can do, whether it's our child or our parent. And it's on both ends of life that we find ourselves doing that. And if you're a parent and you find yourself, oh, I was this kind of caregiver in my 20s, 30s ish, and now in my 50s and 60s, when I'm caring for a parent or a loved one, I'm a very different kind of caregiver. I think I have several friends in this position, and some of the selfish things you don't like about yourself in that space that I've heard them say, just because it's true, is, well, what about my life? And I wanted to travel my last few years of the life, or, I wanted to be traveling to my grandchildren, or whatever that might be. And it got stopped or paused because you're in a space of choosing to care for a parent or another elderly loved one. And that's just hard, right? It's hard to do. And so a gratitude practice in general, people ask me a lot, is it just, this positive thing and everything's great when the world really isn't that great, and you lose your sense of reality? And that isn't it at all. A gratitude journal doesn't say ignore the fact that I might be having a bad day, a bad month, or that something tragic just happened. What it does instead is offers you a place to go for resilience, so that when those things come up to you, when they come into your space, you have a place to go, like your bank account, and you can draw down on that. Whereas if you haven't built up your gratitude bank account per se, it can be really hard to have a place to go to be able, as a resource, to keep going in those really tough times.
I like that idea of a gratitude bank account.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. So gratitude, part of my gratitude practice, because I started really younger in life. And, I watched a lot of motivational speakers, and did a lot of spiritual practice. And I was like, I want to manifest the life I want to live. And gratitude was just one of those leverage points for that offered you kind of a space to any other virtue if you chose to. And so I learned early that the more gratitude I expressed, and honestly, in the beginning, it was just literally 10 things every day. Thank you for my coffee. Thank you for the sky, for my dog, those types of things. And as it evolved, and I got really heart-centered about the things I was grateful for, and I started to understand how everything was connected. So if I was thankful for my coffee, I was probably thankful for the people that grew the beans. I'm probably thankful for their family supporting them when they went out to do the work for me to have these particular coffee beans. And all of those things, and that interconnectedness allows you to have so much more heart-centered thing, that your deposits into your own heart chakras and into your own gratitude bank are multiplied. It's a compounding effect. And then I would have moments or times, like there was a 3-year span in my life with one of my children was really hard. And I drew down on that gratitude bank far more than I deposited. But I was really glad that it was there for me to draw down on because I had an internal resilience that I don't believe I would have had otherwise.
That is amazing. I like that. I like that idea of a gratitude bank, and we build up.
Yeah.
And I know that when I do practice, really being grateful and really being mindful about what's going on in my life, and being grateful for even some of the things that I might label as not good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
When I can be grateful for those things and know that there's a reason behind
Mm-hmm.
whatever's happening, um, gosh, I just feel so much more energized. I feel alive. I think there's
Yeah.
something about it that just really makes you feel alive. And that's great. You talk about gratitude in action. What does
Yeah.
that mean? And talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things that I learned probably in my third or fourth year of my own gratitude practice, that it was all great for me to have this lovely journal, and I have many years of journals, and to be internally expressing it. And that had a limited effect, right? So I started just with simple thank yous. You know, my mom taught me pretty well, and I was pretty good at saying thank you, but actually heartfelt thank yous are a whole nother experience. So when I'm at the restroom in the airport yesterday and the young lady was cleaning it up, I am thankful for a clean restroom in public places. So I actually just stopped and caught her eye and saw her name on her badge and expressed deep gratitude for the work that she's doing, that all of the people coming in and out were benefiting from all day long. And that connection and that expression of that gratitude in that moment to the other soul shifts things for everybody. I mean, her smile was beautiful. She probably found more value. She definitely felt seen in a world where people probably just walk by her all day long. So it's that type of thing. And you'll see in the journal about every month, there's a gratitude and action idea or concept to play with. Some of them will speak to you, some won't. And it's just really for you to take all that month's journey of your internal gratitude that you've been feeding to yourself and bring it out to the world. I've kind of call it a gratitude tsunami, in the sense that we can all go ahead, and if we all express gratitude from the result of our internal practice, we will create a wave of love and kindness that the world has never seen. And we're starting to experience that in pockets around places. There's the Greater Good Science Center in Berkeley that does a lot of work around the numbers and the science behind gratitude. So while it is this good thing for sure, it actually changes the neural pathways and the way you think and see the world. And it's powerful.
It's interesting too. I remember reading a study years ago that when you talked about talking to the lady that cleaned the bathroom and expressing
Mm-hmm.
your gratitude. I read a study that said that when we express gratitude in public like that and thank somebody
Mm-hmm.
for something, it actually affects everybody around us. So it
Yes.
doesn't just affect our body and our physiology, it affects everybody around us. And it actually increases your immune system and
Yes.
strengthens your immune system, and everybody around witness that. So,
Yes.
oh, wow, how awesome is that? I mean, it's such a simple thing to do, and it makes such a difference. I was
Yeah.
lucky. I grew up with a dad who, anytime I walked into a store with my dad, he would tell me, he said, he said, everybody here has their own struggles. And he said, you need to be kind to everybody. And when you go up to the checkout person, say something kind to them because they may have
Nice.
had a hard day. And, just focusing on that really,
Mm-hmm.
I know I can see people light up, when it's like when you
Mm-hmm.
call somebody by their name, they light up and express
Yes.
gratitude for something that they did that nobody ever expresses gratitude. I bet you were the first person that ever told that lady that you were grateful that she cleaned the bathrooms. I bet you were the first. And that's
Well,
amazing, and think about how she carried that throughout her day and
yeah.
how many other people she affected because of what you did, that small little act. So I
Yeah.
love this idea of gratitude in action. And that's what, at the beginning of the show, I talked about. This book is different than any other gratitude journal that I have ever seen or picked up or purchased. And that's one of the reasons that makes it so different, is because you talk about that. You also talk about setting intentions, and combining gratitude with intention, with action. Talk about that.
Yeah, so it's wonderful to start with expressing the things you're thankful for and the observations. It's a whole nother thing to set an intention for your day and to align and actually articulate the behavior that you're going to put behind your intention for the day. So when you do that, you may forget it, right? It's literally a 5 or 10 minute thing in the morning that you start with, and you may totally forget about it the rest of the day. But when you come back for the reflection time in your journal, you will be really surprised about how that simple setting of intention in the morning actually filtered into your day through your subconscious interaction with yourself and the world at large. And when you start to do that, when you start to create alignment between what you say you are and who you are to the actions that you express, you create this beautiful symmetry and wholeness, right? You bring your whole self to whatever you're doing. Joy is just a byproduct. And that is very wonderful experience.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It just, if you have never tried a gratitude practice, I really implore you to reach out and purchase this journal, because it's going to make such an impact, such a difference. And it's so simple. It's really such a simple thing to do. You will probably have resistance, okay?
Yes.
I will probably have resistance when you get it. That's okay. Know that that's okay, and just do. There, like she said, there's no dates on it. Nobody knows about it but you and that journal, and you just do as you can. So if you can do it once a month, if you can do it once a week, if you can do it daily, whatever works for you. But I guarantee you that if you get started, it's kind of addictive.
It is.
It's a really healthy addiction. It's a very healthy addiction, because not only does it make you feel better, but you start noticing that you light up a room when you walk in, and people around you start feeling better. And how great is that? And for the caregivers out there, I would implore you, start this, because like I said, when I would say my gratefuls to my mom, she would light up. So, I mean, who wants to be around a grumpy caregiver, right? I don't want a grumpy caregiver taking care of me when I get old. I want somebody that's joyful. I want somebody that's happy. So I think it's a gift that you can give them. That's probably one of the best gifts you can.
Yeah.
We've got not too much longer left. Tell me, what else is it that you want to make sure that people have know about and take away with them, and how can they touch base with you and learn more about what you do, and maybe hire you for different things?
Yeah. So, I'll share that it's alexisthompson.com is the webpage where you can find the journal. You can find the journal there and all kinds of other resources. And I wanted to highlight 2 resources because I'm grateful for these 2 women in this space, and they speak to 2 topics that you brought up. One is this book called The Third Option. A dear friend of mine, Shannon Miles, wrote this book, beautiful book. And for those of you that are trying to figure out transition in your work, if you have been laid off and you're looking for something that you could do virtually, they're an amazing company, and they can help maybe figure that out with you by employing you if you're in the space of things that they do. And Shannon's just another amazing woman that in my network.
Show us
sure. It's called The Third Option.
Third Option. Okay, great.
By Shannon Miles. And there'll be links to all these on my website as well, but they're on Amazon, I think. And then there's this one. This book is written by woman named Roseanne, and I was her husband actually had a profound impact in my life. You know how certain people come in for very specific times and they just speak to you, and he was one of those folks, and he ended up passing away unexpectedly not long ago. And she wrote a gratitude post on Facebook for a year, and she made that into this beautiful book. And I would recommend, if someone's lost a loved one, that this book could potentially just read one per day, you know, as you're moving through your year, to just give you a space to center and find love through her story and beautiful story of Kurt and her life as you're moving through yours as well. When we're grieving, whether it's a job loss or it's a loved one or it's the version of you that you're shedding to become the new version of you, it doesn't really matter. What does is that you have your own tribe, you have your own set of people, and it doesn't have to be little people that are there to hold you and love you and be willing to see you raw and unedited and allow you that space for that transformation. And it can be really hard. And I'm hoping that through this gratitude journal, we're not just creating a journal, which is an awesome thing, but we're creating community. So we do have a Facebook group. If you do purchase a journal, you can join in there and find support there as well.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, I am so excited that you came on, and I really thank you for being here today. Alexis, thank you so much. And everybody out there, the links are up. Go and visit her Facebook page. Go and visit her website. Get one of the journals. And don't judge yourself when it sits on your shelf for a week or two. It's okay. Just know that it's there. And when the time is ready, you'll pick it up and you'll start using it. But start a gratitude practice. It's probably going to be one of the best things you've ever done in your life. Yeah. Alexis, again, thank you for being on the show. Again, this is Catherine Watson with the Life After 50 show. I bring you different guests every week to help you on the second half of your journey. And next week, we are going to be talking about Medicare and the two most underutilized services that Medicare will pay for that people are just not using because they just don't know. So we're going to be talking about that. And I would love to have you show up at the show or watch the replay, whether you're watching the replay or you're watching us live. It doesn't matter. Participate, add your comments, ask your questions. If you have questions for Alexis, feel free to put them in the comment section. Tell us about your gratitude practice if you have one, and we would love to help you. All right. Thanks so much, and have a great day, everybody.